So maybe these really should be like a permanent UI feature. Because you can't play the game without looking at these all the time. Like if you just don't pay attention to the food, for example, then you just starve to death and you don't even know what's going on. It's the same reason why, you know, like in StarCraft, you always see your minerals and gas and population, and you always see the minimap. Like you can't just turn off the minimap, because if you play the game without looking at the minimap, you're playing it wrong, right? So like you're a noob and you're playing it wrong if you don't look at the minimap all the time. So with you know, with these games, like if it's important to the gameplay, then they just make it permanent, and there's no reason why they shouldn't. I mean, the other argument is you don't want to take up too much of the screen with unnecessary things. That's true. That is true. But these are necessary. You know what I mean? I remember, have you guys played Doom? Oh, not Doom. Dune. The RTS. Dune 2? It's pretty bad, basically. Like, a large percentage of your screen is just junk. Like, oh, I think Warcraft? Like, they would put these... Oh, a lot of games, a lot of the old... What's it called? A lot of the old Westwood RPG games, anyway. So they'd have these elaborate borders around the actual screen. And the borders don't do anything. Like, the borders don't actually contribute to the gameplay at all. They just kind of... They're these frilly, decorative things, and they're just a complete waste of time. And a waste of space. So I don't agree with that. Food variety, alright, good. More achievements. So, you know, when you have like a frilly border around your actual game window, then that's a waste of space. Like, you're wasting people's time, wasting people's kind of resources with that. But this stuff is essential. Like, you can't play this game without this stuff. We don't have enough stone and iron, or we do, we're just not up to it yet. So I guess in the meantime, let me stick that into fishing. And more farmers? Do we want more farmers? I think we do. I think we want more farmers, so we can. I think we're starting to see the population increase kicking in after. Yeah, there you go. A slight uptick there. You can see that. Not much of one though. Not much of one, and it's leveling off there too. That's fascinating. Oh, well, I know what that means. Okay, it's leveling off because these, basically that means that these students are growing up into adults. So you see how, so that goes up to there and then levels off, and it carries on here and it goes up and it levels off, and then here it goes up. See how that goes up after that stops and starts to level off. So they're basically growing up into the next category, right? Stone and iron, we don't have enough stone. Okay. Maybe I should put one into stone cutting. Let's do that. I can probably take one back out of mining. Maybe I just leave that in there for a little while longer. Yeah. If it were up to me, I would definitely have this and this as permanent UI elements. Just don't let people even close them. I mean, you see me constantly clicking on these, right? And you see me constantly looking at this. It's just unplayable. This game is unplayable without these open. Alright, so we got more houses, which is great. Green line is going up ever so slightly, which is just fine by me. That is down to 8%. That's down to 5%. But we're hardly having any trouble, like we're hardly having any difficulty. I mean, the scarlet fever was slightly terrifying, but you know, in the long run, nothing really happened, did it? A few people got sick, they went to the doctor, and then it was over. And like, you know, we get, you know, infestations in the pastures, and then we're just gonna kill some animals, split them up, and then move them back. So it's not like this game is difficult if you're prepared. If you're not prepared, if you're not looking at these numbers all the time, then things will just, like, bad things will just happen. And I guess I can see how they snowball, because in the first game we played, it did snowball. Like once we didn't have enough tools, the problem kind of just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So this game does do that to you. Like there's no, you know, once things get out of control, that's it. You're done. You've lost the game. But you know, I think we've done fairly well in staying prepared, and we're not really having any of this problem. Okay, we're trading for 100 steel tools. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the less iron we use, the better off we are. So we can kind of shunt that over to say selling warm coats for more tools, then I'm happy to do that. Value is 20, which means I'm selling 50 of these. Alright, trade. Don't need the coats though. How can I can order more tools. I can order iron and stone, because iron and stone are finite. Anyway, we'll keep going. That quarry is getting deeper and deeper. That's fascinating. Look how deep that is. It's grabbing all the stone they can find. Let's grab it. Grab all of it. 8% remaining. Just really not sure if I like the idea of finite resources. Like just completely finite. And tools wear out, and iron is finite. So at some point in the distant future, once we've mined out all these mountains, then we won't have tools anymore. Unless we buy, you know, iron and we buy tools from the trader. I don't know if that's sensible. I guess nobody ever plays that long. Maybe that's the thing. Like nobody ever bothers playing that long, and it might take a long time to actually mine out everything. I don't know. I guess so. Alright, so we're pretty much out of stone, and that's why we're not building these. "38 children, 35 students." And our alcohol situation is actually looking okay. People are healthy and happy at the very least. Fisherman has died of old age, alright. We still have 10 coal sitting around. Alright, that's all fine, that's all fine. Don't know if I should pay more attention to making more alcohol? What? Is my food storage going downwards? We just got through winter, right? Let's keep an eye on that, let's keep an eye on that. A farmer has died of old age, alright. I think our food is going downwards, hold on, let me just check. Food. Well, you can see how you get summer and winter and summer and winter. You can see how that fluctuates. We didn't get as big of a harvest at the end of the last year though. I think we're slowly going down. Let's keep an eye on this graph for like another year or two, and then we can panic. We can panic afterwards. It looks like it's going down, doesn't it? We have 43 out of 49 farmers. Let me take 2 people out of the mines and put them onto the farms. A hunter has died of old age. The thing is, the pipeline is getting bigger. You can see there's more children. So again, there's this issue of we're getting more children and students, but they're not grown up yet to become farmers. So then we got this kind of food crisis. Because once they grow up, we can stick them into food production. But until that point, we're just stuck with feeding them while they're still students. This game's actually really interesting. It's actually really interesting. I'm slightly sad that the game doesn't make as much of a it doesn't make a big deal out of it. A blacksmith has died. Oh, that sucks. Doesn't really make a big deal out of it. But the population dynamics is really interesting. And the fact why are big cities easier than small towns? It's a really interesting concept that you can kind of learn a lot from. But you really have to do your own thinking because the game doesn't really explain the mechanics to you very well. It just presents you with these numbers and graphs and good luck, right? But if you really kind of think about it, it's actually a really interesting simulation, and it kind of shows you things like economies of scale, and stuff like that, and why that's so powerful. It's really interesting. But yeah, the game really doesn't explain these things to you. In order to play this game successfully, and I'm as far as I can tell, I am successful right now because we're kind of not having any problems. To play this game successfully, you kind of really have to understand to a certain extent these population things and then how these numbers affect each other. And these are not things that you usually encounter in your day-to-day life. Right? These are real demographic planning sorts of concepts. So it's a fairly it's fairly complicated. More complicated even than SimCity. See, the thing about SimCity, or all the versions of SimCity that I've played, these things are there in the stats, but they don't really affect your game, right? Because you just take taxes. You zone the land, and then the houses get built, and then you take taxes. So whether the people there are old or young, you just take taxes anyway. And if there's jobs, there's too many jobs, then people come in from neighboring cities to work, and then you can send your guys to neighboring cities to work. So there's a lot of kind of things in SimCity that it's like they're like kiddie gloves. They're like it's a padded room. You can kind of do crazy things, but the game kind of eases you, or kind of protects you from the full impact of bad decisions. So you can make some dodgy decisions, but you won't feel the full effect of them in the game in SimCity. Whereas in this game, if you make these bad decisions, you feel the whole effect of it. You can see everybody dying in front of your eyes, basically. It's terrifying. This game is terrifying. And in SimCity, you don't have to assign professions, for example. So that as you play the game, the people kind of assign themselves. If you kind of zone industry, then people go work in the factories. If you zone commerce, then they go work in the businesses. And if one business goes bankrupt, then they just kind of automatically move to another business anyway. So you don't have to micromanage this stuff. And so again, the computer takes away that difficulty from you, and so then you just deal with the big picture, right? You don't have to kind of manage these small details. But in doing so, as I said, it makes bad decisions less harmful, and so you don't learn. Possibly you don't learn quite as much from your mistakes because you don't see the full impact of your mistakes. Whereas here you do, much more clearly, and this is really interesting to me. Although it's taken us quite a while to get to this point. It's taken us quite a while just to kind of figure out the game mechanics and all that. And just to see the full impact of the game mechanics. But now that we have a decent sized city and I can just sit back and look and just kind of do nothing basically while the game builds itself, then I can, oh wait a minute, I need a teacher. Let me just stop talking for a bit. We need a teacher there, and I need to put down more houses. So now that we have like free time to just kind of sit back and we're not panicking about starving all the time, then we can, you know, start talking about these interesting things because I don't have to. I'm not panicking all the time. I think I'll do this like 3 just so this lines up on the other side. I just remove one road basically from this layout. And so then when we get to this point, it lines up here. I think I want to do that just to make this easier to design later on. See how that works?